Really?
Really? I am just a figment of your imagination.
Imagination.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Everyone, introduce yourself.
I'm the dumbass named Brain of Steel. I'm just a dumbass that likes to hang out with nice streaming people. Woohoo!
I'm Phil. I'm the resident Christian.
Yep. And we've got some fun stuff, and I want to wish Dog a happy birthday. Dog is spending his birthday, it's either today or tomorrow, with his family. And tonight, young Sameya, Dog.
But
And
wait,
we have some
aren't we
very
his family?
in the real lives. I mean, well, maybe if I have a bus, I can be in Norfolk tomorrow. I'm not going to say what city or what town. But maybe.
Yeah.
I'd have to ask because it is like the birthdays. But anyway, we got some fun dirt that we want to play. It's let's point let it play.
Now, one thing I really want your generation to embrace is that the Earth is a closed system. We cannot leave the Earth. There's no place to go.
Nope.
You have been taught from the earliest ages that you live on a spinning ball.
I want to actually put some production value into that. Well done, most of the flat Earth stuff that we make fun of looks like crap.
That NASA has...
But then again, like, you don't need a lot to put to get good quality videos. Like, if you have time and effort, you can do a lot. I've seen that from somebody. I don't know what their name is again. Like, they're part of that group, the DSA or something.
sent men to the moon.
Make some awesome shit.
And you are the result of a Big Bang explosion which created everything.
No.
Out of nothing. Yet nothing could be farther from the truth.
Now approaching lunar sunrise.
And they should have just played the audio from Apollo 8, but well, again, they put some effort into it.
And for all the people back on Earth, the crew of Apollo 8 has a message that we would like to send to you.
God created the heaven.
Yes, this is a biblical flat earther who put this video together. They believe it was Shemaim equals. It's a flat, giant dome.
And the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light."
Apollo 8, I think it was Apollo 8 or Apollo 9 orbited the moon, and it was on Christmas Day, and someone met
And there
this.
was light. And God saw the light that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day.
No, I have a question. If Earth be flat, why was the moon a giant sphere?
And God said,
Hello,
"Let there be a firmament in the
Jake.
midst of the waters."
Yeah, we gotta
people.
say hello to everybody. Hello, Jinx. Hello, Tori. Hello, Demon Orbs.
And let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament.
In the ancient world, they realized, oh, there be sea, baby, and there be sea.
And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day.
I don't actually think Apollo read that watching. I really don't.
And God said, let the waters under the heaven
Yeah, the conspiratorial mindset that you're uncovering secret truths. It basically plays with the dopamine in your brain. So there was one person who was arrested by the LAPD who was in the QAnons, and they had stayed up all night on the computer, and they were running around thinking that they were decoding messages in the random license plates. When you stay up like on the internet all night looking for patterns, you eventually find them. If they act like they're on speed, you get rewarded for finding another little nugget by your brain. And you stay up all night wanting more and more nuggets. And pretty soon you'll believe anything.
You know, this idea that, billions of years ago, nothing exploded and then everything came out of that nothingness.
Hell, it didn't say that nothing exploded. Science just can't tell us what that is. Because there's no evidence of what existed before. Yes, it's expansion, not exploding. Because everything existed at one point and then expanded. It was actually like before. It was the theists who wanted a steady state universe, and then George Lemaitre, who was also a Catholic priest, was like, he had knocked out the Hubble background radiation, not Hubble background, but noticed that it's about 10 o'clock here. But basically, it was a Catholic priest who figured out cosmic expansion, and that through redshift. Yeah, that was the redshifting of the stars that was noticed. And he figured out the cosmic expansion, and if it was expanding, it was reason that there must have been a point at which it came from. And the secular scientists coined that the Big Bang, but it wasn't exactly in the way they did that. Complimentary of Lemaitre, it was to knock him. But it turned out George Lemaitre was right. And when the Pope read it and tried using Lemaitre's findings to back his religion, the Pope was like, no, not the Pope. Lemaitre told the Pope, no, my calculations have nothing to do with my religion. This is science. And, because if he had started out, well, I'm just going to say that the universe was hooked into existence, and all the scientists say steady state. Because at that time, in like the 1930s and 40s and 50s and 60s, the scientists were still most scientists by the 60s, and it's pretty much settled. But in the 1930s and 40s, Lemaitre was fighting for what eventually was accepted by science.
Ridiculous. But they try to make you believe that, that the idea that a supreme being.
And by the way, that's the voice of the piss drinking flat earthing. He's actually from the UK.
Flat Earth Dave?
I think that's his voice. Yeah, Flat Earth Dave.
A creator created this is ridiculous compared to that idea.
Yes.
Yeah, Flat Earth Dave thought that he outthought Einstein. In fact, the other day, I was thinking of him because I was walking to the Museum of London where he shot one of his most successful and first videos back in 2017.
But, you know, if you look at it objectively, I would lean towards a creator because, you know, there's so much that points to, you know, the fingerprint of
Yep. That's that guy drank his own piss. He advocates drinking piss. He tried breatharianism and he almost starved himself to death, but then he walked off with that.
a creator. But it's no less ridiculous than nothing exploding.
That's not what science argues. Science argues we don't know what happened before everything came into existence.
Yeah.
There could have very well been something.
Becoming something. In my opinion, the Big Bang theory and
I love how
the
cartoony
theory
this
of
is.
evolution.
In science, evolution is a observed fact, especially in larger, not much smaller organisms. And we can see it in larger organisms over times with Darwin's finches and Darwin. If you read some of his diaries when he was going to publish his stuff, he was rather torn. You know, a lot of people think, oh, these evil scientists and these secularists are out to destroy God. But why would you actually, in a time when Darwin lived, when everything was religion, bother to bring such hatred towards yourself and reproach and all kinds of stuff unless you were observing something that you could basically do this? And well, this is the way it's working. You know, why would you cause yourself all sorts of trouble and heartache? And rather than just go along with the crowd unless you saw evidence. And I mean, especially in geology, there's a ton of evidence, and that just to the naked eye shows that the time scales we're dealing with are not in thousands of years, not millions of years, right? In fact, in billions.
The ball earth theory are all interlinked, and they're all there to make us feel as though we're insignificant. We're
small.
No. Well,
you're not insignificant.
Yes, you are. And so am I, but not to yourself.
Well, we're not insignificant.
Not to the people that care about you, but to the universe. Yes, we are insignificant.
Well, let me use one person as an example, right? Let's say in Ukraine, there are just like a handful of people. I'm trying to remember the name of that airport. I should remember the name of that airport. It's right outside of Kyiv. If just a few hundred people hadn't had the guts that they did, your whole life would look different than it does now. Just a few hundred people changed the course of human history. And And I'll get back to you. I'll look the name of the airport out. And just you people, right, doing the right thing can change the course of history. I mean, there were so many people, there were a bunch of people who in Ukraine, they had the choice between basically taking what would seem like a foregone conclusion of basically betraying their country to Russia, or doing the right thing and refusing to. And those who betrayed their country to Russia, they wound up having to live in Russia or getting dirt napped. And it wasn't seen that way before they betrayed, but after. I mean, individual people can have significant impact on the world. You just don't know it. What's going to happen?
Small, tiny, unimportant pieces of slime crawling around on a speck of dust in an infinite universe. If that's true, and there's no purpose, there's no meaning to anything, then our owners can do whatever they want with us.
But we don't
And now
have owners.
about owners can't do whatever. Yeah, and that's another thing. Why do we need owners? I guess we're talking about the oligarchs and the politicians and the leaders. And in free democracies, we're not supposed to have owners. I mean, I would then go find another channel, someone who worked as, this was in a private chat, I won't mention them, their name, but they worked as a interpreter in Russia. And I guess what they're saying is, because that person said the Russians have their own thoughts, they don't have their own minds. And I guess this even Dave is trying to say is that if I'm going to think freely for myself and the world says very flat, it's round, so therefore flat. Just being obstinate does not make you a free thinker. It could make you
The theory, the world is a globe revolving around the sun, has been accepted for so long it is now widely accepted as fact.
No duh, it's like a proven fact. Great stuff, horse. Why would I fly over Nova Scotia coming to the Yukon when the straight line would have put me over the Atlantic? Why would I fly over Newfoundland? Why would I fly over where if we had a flat map, it would have been even shorter to fly?
Research has revealed the Earth is, in reality, not a globe spinning through endless realms of space.
It's an oblate spheroid spinning through endless space. And if anyone wants to join in, you're perfectly welcome.
Neither spherical, as taught for 500 years, nor able to be fallen from the edges, the flat Earth is exactly as the ancients have taught through Scripture, a fixed mass of land and seas enclosed by a protective dome.
Oh. And I wish I had that copy. I wish I had that copy of the calculations Mike Bertelson did, where there was no material known to man, not even diamond or sapphire, that could bear some weight or than being.
Yeah.
And why, even if you believe that there is a God, why would you want a God that had a 20,000 kilometer diameter pancake walk? Wouldn't you rather have an infinite a God that could create an infinite universe? It's saying the pancake world is kind of boring.
cultures the world over throughout history have all described and reported the existence of a geocentric, stationary, flat Earth.
Geocentric is not a flat Earth theory. That is actually a globe theory.
And geocentric also, well, it doesn't necessarily need to be flat or globe because it's talking about the stars and the Earth's relationship with that. But
No, it says that
you flatten out the Earth
the
thing.
sun rotates around the Earth, not above it.
Copernicus kind of put in the kibosh on that. Quite a long time ago.
Indians, Mayans, Chinese, Native Americans, and literally every ancient civilization on Earth had a geocentric, flat Earth cosmology. Before Pythagoras, the idea of a spinning ball Earth was non-existent.
Because
Well, at least they put effort into it. Because they didn't know better. Except for the Greeks, they threw that to Eratosthenes that the Earth was a globe. Hundreds of years before the 1st century BC, first century CE.
And even after Pythagoras, it remained an obscure minority view until 2,000 years later, when Copernicus began reviving the heliocentric theory.
Proper interpretation.
not sure if that was completely correct.
He created a model that pretty much, there were people beforehand, they were just executed. Get down and move now. I remember who was the other one.
Interpretation of the Bible requires an understanding of the original context in which it was written. God chose a specific time, place, and culture in which to inspire Scripture. The ancient Mediterranean and the ancient Near East of the 2nd and 1st centuries BC. Misreadings of Scripture often result from assuming that biblical writers thought, believed, and acted as we do. One of the starkest differences between modern and ancient people is our view of cosmology. The term cosmology refers to the way one understands the structure of the universe. The Israelites believed in a cosmology that was common among the ancient civilizations of the biblical world. It encompassed 3 parts built up like a layer cake: a heavenly realm, an earthly realm for humans, and an underworld for the dead. This 3-tier system is reflected in the 10 Commandments.
And they think that the word Shemayim means physical, solid, down rather than expand. So I'm not saying that all people who believe the Bible believe that. I'm saying flat earth is.
You shall not make for yourself a carved image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth.
Okay, so why are there paintings that depict God and angels? That's not allowed.
You know, interestingly, there are no paintings of Jews actually found that were made by Jews until like the 3rd century CE. It was actually a giant no-no. And then some people threatened to start a bloody rebellion when Caesar wanted to put his image on the shields. And it was a big no-no. But a lot of that artwork, Brainless, that you're talking about was done by the Catholic Church and then later Protestants. And early Protestant Reformation, the Reformers, they actually didn't even like stained glass depicting biblical scenes because they wanted people to actually read and hear what was in the Bible rather than just see pretty pictures and make up stories. And that's as far as artwork goes. But with Jews, like I said, 3rd century was the first time that there was images of Jews actually created by Jews. Then that's how way it was. Basically, there was no longer a state of Israel by the time that was happening. And early Christians up until Constantine weren't really into making images. And then, of course, you mix church and state. And, well, you get the Catholic Church and the Dark Ages. And if anyone would like to contribute, they're perfectly welcome. They're not going to rip your head off.
Well, actually, if you read about the graven images, you go to Exodus 25, it explains it even more. Don't make the images because you should not bow down to them nor serve them. Basically, what he's saying is don't make idols to worship or pray to. So that's verse 5 explains verse 4. The 10 Commandments are a summary of all Exodus chapter 20.
Understand that the Earth is a sphere orbiting other objects in the void of space. The biblical writers thought of the Earth as a flat disk atop vast waters. Rising.
That's actually not true. There's not a quote Isaiah 40, but really, when you think about it, I'm just assuming because I've heard the flat Earth argument so much. When you're standing on top of a mountain, you see. Oh, I know. I'm responding to what they're going to do. I'm just trying to paint a picture for everyone that you stand on top of the mountain, right? And you see a circle, right? On the horizon, and that's what's meant by circle of the earth. And as you go higher, you see more and more of it. But that's what they observe, just a circle. It's not their fault. Idiots take things out of context.
From the deep waters below were the foundations of the world, which held the earth firmly in place. And this idea is reflected in several places throughout Scripture. The foundations of the earth belong to the Lord. On them he has set the world. Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Tell me if you know. Who measured it? I'm sure you know. Who stretched a measuring line across it? What was it built on?
I wish I had a Tanakh in the original Hebrew, because I bet you that this is taking well, I know it's taken completely out of context, but there's a particularly crappy interpretation of the Bible that's been adopted by flat earthers. I forget which one it's called, but it's particularly bad in almost every
Who laid its most important stone?
No, it's actually worse linguistically than the King James.
Okay.
I mean, the King James has some issues with, well, it has issues where it was like more poetic than,
He placed the earth on its foundation.
I've got to agree with Jinx.
Beneath the earth lay the realm of the dead, often referred to by the Hebrew word.
Oh yeah, that background music sucks. There's something called Shuno, and it can make you good background music now.
Yeah, but this background music is music when you are just showing images and not talking over them.
Right, well, he's talking over them.
The Hebrew word.
Yeah, talking shit.
And also, for anyone who's interested in making videos, use an equalizer or a multi-channel compressor and drop the middle frequencies of any background music, because the human voice sits largely inside the middle of your audible spectrum. So if you basically get rid of the middle of the audible spectrum, you will then have a nice hole to put your voice in, and you still get the benefit of the background music.
Earth, Eretz, is also used. since the graves dug by humans represented gateways to the underworld. This underworld was also connected to the great deep, the uninhabitable abyss beneath everything. In Job, this realm is described in watery terms. The dead tremble under the waters, and their inhabitants. Sheol is naked before God, and Abaddon has no covering.
Yeah, and Hebrew Sheol just means grave. It neither specifically indicates a good or a bad end, it just means grave.
Jonah's description is perhaps the most vivid. Water encompassed me to the point of death. The great deep engulfed me. Weeds were wrapped around my head. I descended to the roots of the mountains.
And if I remember that story correctly, he was supposedly swallowed by a giant fish. Context.
The earth with its bars was around me forever, but you have brought up my life from the pit, O Lord my God. Ancient Israelites did not think of the sky as a layer of gas. They believed the heavens were separated from the earth by a solid, glass-like...
Because they didn't know what
That's
gas
not
was.
true. That's also, I think, not true, but they certainly didn't think it was a giant dome.
This view is reflected in Job. Can you, like him, spread out the skies, hard as a cast metal mirror?
I don't think. I think this is a Hellenistic version of the Bible. And yes, Phil, there is a flat earth version, and I will find it and I will get it for you if you're interested.
Above the solid dome or firmament was...
I know you're not interested in the flat earth, but it might be. Like, I had multiple translations of the Bible because I enjoyed trying to see how the people interpreted some of the original languages and stuff.
An endless area of water. This idea of an area of land and air, sandwiched between water above and water below,
is called silly.
Presented in the opening of Genesis. And God said, "Let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." And God made the expanse and separated the waters that were under the expanse from the waters that were above the expanse.
And they think that means that there's a giant dome and an infinite ocean above. And I'm not saying all Christians or Jews do. I'm saying flat earthers believe that. And by far, most people who are Christians and Jews believe the earth is a globe.
And it was so. And God called the expanse heaven. The firmament surrounded the earth, and its edge met the horizon, the boundary between light and darkness. It was supported by pillars or foundations thought to be the tops of mountains whose peaks appeared to...
Coming from a nice place of conversation as opposed to all the batshit craziness, my best friend and his group come up with a DSA. Think of what I'm talking about. Funny it is. Now, you describe that friend, and it's really bad when you got a friend who finds every alternative fact from the internet and lives down many
touched the sky. The earth trembled and shook. The pillars of the heavens rocked back and forth. They trembled because the Lord was angry. The sky dome had portals which God could open to let the waters above.
And let's fast forward because it basically, they're pulling the nonsense out of the backside, revolves around exactly the same topic I'm looking into. At the same time, finds distractions without great community.
Fall to the earth.
Let's try to find some more silly theory. Is that one of the little bit how do they know that it's CGI? Really, how do they know?
Hey,
Hi, Midbit. How are you doing?
because they do not understand what it actually is. So then it's got to be CGI.
I hope none of this music is copyrighted. Let's try to get something where they're talking. Oh, that was the 7 Mile Bridge in Key West. Yeah, Miffet lives in Oz. She's just getting up as everyone in the Madonka is going to bed.
Good morning.
Well, we after the first of the month, I will have the necessary funds to make it Oz. If someone didn't burglarize my house and then steal everything out of one bank account, I would have had the money. You can see how they're using the cloud mining from the Bible to suck people into flat earth.
Yep.
One of the things is if you can teach that conspiratorial mindset of don't trust anyone but the people who want to prey on you. And this is why let me see if I can pull up that video. I'm more concerned with the audio where Akhmedar Starsky, who's the Ukrainian press officer, pretty much says that Russia promotes the flat earth and just that every other conspiracy theory. They don't actually want you to trust the authorities because, I'm not going to say anything about the authorities after Trump takes over, because I think that they're going to be really compromised by people like Tulsi Gabbard, who are non-Kremlin assets. Right. The CIA, the MSA, the FBI, before Trump. All those people that career professionals who owe no loyalty to any politician but only the well-being of your country. In fact, ask Mayor Daley and his corruption around the time that Nixon was having his problems. Bill basically invented the civil service so that there would be no political fealty between the civil servants and the politicians. The notion of the deep state, first really promoted by Steve Bannon, was basically you can't actually get the government to do anything illegal or unconstitutional as long as you have those career politicians that owe no political fealty. The whole reason for the civil service was so that you wouldn't wind up with a situation where Mayor Daley could basically threaten to fire someone if they didn't evict thousands of people from their homes. Through eminent domain for one of his projects. Even though eminent domain is often used, Mayor Daley took corruption to an extreme degree. And there is an Earth curve there.
Yeah. they need to know. That's it. They're not taught truth. They're taught what they need to know. And so you're taught enough so that you can, do the paperwork and operate the machinery, but you're not meant to know what's really going on.
And sadly,
someone
what
was
he's
fit-
saying, that is true. That's
Well,
what
once
Elon
you
wants.
get out of high school, once you get out of high school and college, even in high school, good high school, they'll start, here's how anyone's graduated high school. You remember when you were in elementary, they said you can't subtract a larger number from a smaller number. That was untrue, but they didn't want to cause confusion. And at another point, all of a sudden, they said, oh, you can, you just get a negative number. And then they said you couldn't divide a number where the answer was less than 0, I think. And then they showed you imaginary numbers. I forget what it was. I'll have to look it up. But then they showed you imaginary numbers, and all of a sudden you can. And things just build and build and build. But they don't tell you things because it will cause confusion. But I remember when I was taking Calc 1 and I asked a professor who worked at J Labs that eventually got me a 3-month internship there. That when I first met him, I asked him, please tell me how to calculate the surface area of a screw. And he said, I couldn't. But that's all you would know. And you can't, if mathematics is a foundation that has to be built up. And really between Calc 1 and Calc 3, I had knew as to how much was between the two. I just was ignorant of it, and being ignorant of something doesn't mean you're bad or stupid. It just means you need to learn something, and no one can be an expert in every field. Just I'm getting 54 credits for mechanical engineering degree. Yeah, but they're not really experts.
Because that's the power they have over us. They know what's going on, how this world works. We don't, so they can control us.
Well, at least he knows that he doesn't know how the world works.
They're not trying. Now, I'm not going to say scientists are not trying to just control you for the sake of making you their marionette.
No.
Right? So, when they say there is global warming, right? It's not to control you. I mean, for what purpose, right? Guys, so do they benefit from going out there and saying, like Al his family made their money with oil in Tennessee. He literally started a crusade against his own family's wealth. I mean, he diversified and got all himself out of it. But I mean, his family basically made money on oil. And I get that we need oil. I really do. I'm not one of the idiots who think we can go full battery without massively updating infrastructure. And even then, we can't go without oil because, like, bricks. Are you going to take up 10,000 or 14,000 pounds of your carrying capacity just for a battery? No trucking company's going to do that. It's always going to be fossil fuel. And fossil fuels do currently have, for the foreseeable future, even if all the milk passenger cars. And I'm losing viewers, but they're not trying to control you for bad reasons. I grew up in South Florida. When I was a kid, we had cold winters. It would often get them 60 degrees or below 60 every day. And then as I became a teenager and young adult, those days were farther and farther apart. And when you don't get cold snaps, tropical diseases spread north. So, you know, that's just my worldview on this subject. And yes, there are equations that look like that, and yes, it looks confusing, but anyone who's actually taken, God, that's DE. That's DE. That's with whalers. That's with, I'm trying to remember, there's a whole bunch of theorems that wound up taking up 3 chocolates. And does day and night even work on that?
They don't.
And how does the enclosed sun not bake us all alive?
From the beginning of recorded history, and for thousands upon thousands of years.
Oh, Phil, I can give you Dubai's YouTube channel because I want to illustrate the connection between the creepy New Age religion and anti-Semitism.
Yeah, sure.
It's real, and a lot of the crap that Dubai comes up with, it's not only anti-Semitic. I think he's shilling for Russia.
Years, cultures across the entire world all believed the Earth was flat. Their various cosmologies and cosmogonies differed in slight ways, but their overall geographies and astronomies were incredibly consistent and in fact virtually identical.
And they didn't have satellites, and they were feeding off each other. And there's the Mercator map, where Mercator would turn over in his grave to realize what kind of buffoonery, including islands and 4 rivers, has caused hundreds of years into the future. He never would have done it if he had only legends to lead him to incorporate that. They had no clue.
The Earth was a stationary plane, void of any motion or curvature, flat across its entire expanse, except of course for hills, mountains, and valleys. The North Pole was the magnetic monopole center point of the flat Earth, with
Well, that's the kind of buffoonery that comes with the Mercator map. And no reason at the time to believe that. And he believes that there was a giant world tree. And actually, the earliest flat Earth video that went viral was done by Flat Earth Satan, who wanted to, he brought it something else into existence called blood over intent. It's really weird and really creepy and really evil. And he wants to lead 144,000 of his followers to the North Pole to jump into the lake of fire and its lava. I'm not kidding you.
This sounds a lot like Norse mythology. I mean, like the world tree, and I mean, didn't the Norse believe in the flat Earth and all that kind of stuff?
And then it gets into Tataria and...
I think saying that the older cultures believed in flat Earth is kind of an overstatement. They just, that's what they observed a little bit. And like for the I think the Norse would be one of the people that would realize first that it's not a small flat disk because they traveled quite a bit. But like, if that's all you see, and like, as a kid, did you believe that the Earth was round? No, you saw. Oh yeah, there's houses there, and this like you didn't even think of it.
No, what I'm trying to say is I mean, the Norse did have a mythology about a tree and stuff like that, but I guess you had these supposed Christians taking these verses out of the Bible, picking and choosing and combining it with ideas from other
Picking and
religions
choosing, yeah, that's what they're good at.
to make a point that's just totally, I can't say the word on stream, but anyway, yeah.
Where pegs
You can
round
say
holes like puppies with a smashity smash. Is that good?
I can't say it because of, well, what I represent, but it's just driving me
That
nuts.
was a. We get it, and I described what it looks like: square pegs, round holes, like puppies, smash, and it all fit. I know it doesn't, but well, this is the intersection of theosophy, Norse mythology, and Christianity.
Polaris, the North Pole star, situated directly above. Polaris was the only motionless star in the heavens, with all the other constellations revolving perfect circles over the Earth every night. The stars were divided into two categories.
Not motionless. It still moves. It's not the exact North Pole, you dumb cunt. I can say
yes,
those things,
like 0.4 degrees.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how
I
much.
gotcha.
I do know it's not stationary.
Yes, it's very slight.
Known as the fixed stars and the wandering stars. The fixed stars were so called because they were observed then, as we can observe today, to stay fixed in their constellation patterns, night after night, year after year, century after century, never changing their relative position.
They did change.
Well, no, not.
I just changed the relative
changing
positions.
Not noticeably changing their relative position to each other. Compared to where they are in our sky, yes, that did change.
They did change their position relative, not noticeably, but there's one star that actually has moved quite a bit. It's close and it's really moving fast.
The wandering stars, what are today referred to as planets, were so called because they were observed then, as we can observe today, to wander the heavens, taking their own unique spirograph-like patterns, making both forward and retrograde motions over and around the Earth during their cycles.
The other thing that's about the spinning Earth is looking at the stars. Now, directly above the axis of spin is the pole star, Polaris, okay, directly over the North Pole. And we're told that the reason that all the stars
Hello?
Spliced.
Oh, I had on mute. The fastest star in the sky was ejected by the black hole in the center and is moving up to 8% of 8% the speed of light, or no, I'm reading this wrong. Let's say 5 million miles per hour, respectively. I'm sorry, I was reading something wrong. But I'm going to nick up the star that's moving the fastest through the night sky. It's actually visibly changed its position in the last 80
spin around
years.
the North Star is because the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. Okay, seems to make sense because if you put a long exposure camera pointing it to the North Star, you'll see the stars will make perfect circles around, perfect star trails. The only problem is the Earth is also orbiting the Sun at 67,000 miles an hour. Okay, the Sun is moving, dragging the Earth and all the planets up that way or that way.
Okay, I know that animation gave me a copyright in a good long time ago. I hope we cut it in time. Discovery Channel, you're petty.
Model right now, it shows the sun.
Yeah, the spiral.
Shooting through the universe
and spiraling.
And and everything else.
That goes again. But gave me a copyright. That was the first stream I actually did out of the back of my truck. And I had to appeal it, but they took it down for a short time.
Bastards.
Would exist absolutely no point in all that background at which would not exist a star. The sun and moon were both of equal size, and they too revolved over and around the motionless Earth.
No, but the stupid thing is, like, most of the stars we see, especially now with all the light pollution, are in our own galaxy, so they travel the same speed as the sun. Around or similar speed.
Now, actually, they're not even in our own galaxy. We literally either down away and very bright. Well, no. I mean, there's only like 2,000 something stars visible to the human eye. Maybe 3,000, I'm not sure, but it's not even 10,000 that are visible to the human eye in the darkest sky. At night.
Yeah, and also
so
if
few actually are.
If they're that far away, the parallax will be so small that they will hardly change position, and the other ones travel up around the same speed and are still goddamn far away. But
as immortalized in the Chinese yin-yang symbol. The sun and moon were much closer to Earth than supposed nowadays, and each shined with their own unique opposite lights, the sun's being warm, golden, drying, preservative, and antiseptic, and the moon's light being cold, silver, damp, putrefying, and septic.
Oh yeah, the cold moonlight. The soul.
It's so sad.
Now we see. Yes, here's the thing, right? They will take an object. They will put covering over it on a night where there's no clouds. And then we'll take a temperature measurement, and even a slight covering will reflect sunlight or keep sunlight will prevent convection from the atmosphere. It's very slightly affecting the object's temperature. And the object out in pure open because of convection and rain will
they should do
colder
usually. They should also do those experiments when there is no moon. Then you get the exact same results.
Yes.
The sun and moon, as though connected to a magnetic maypole, made alternating spiral journeys over and around the Earth every year.
The thing about the sun is that we're told it's 93 million miles away. It's not. It's actually something around 3,000 miles away and about 34 miles across.
They are. Sorry. Like, he is so fucking ridiculous.
Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right when anyone hears it for the first time who has a functioning brain that is the response.
And he takes himself so fucking serious. I don't know if people have noticed, but I don't take myself that serious.
He thinks that he has outthought Einstein.
But I gotta say one thing. If you seriously want to take me, sure, why not? Never mind.
Yeah, I want to quote Mippet here. He's a good example of why you shouldn't drink your own urine. They say drinking seawater is bad enough for you.
Yeah. He's...
Oh.
Phil probably doesn't know this. Like at one point, he had to go to the hospital, and he got one of those masks that to inhale the medicine. He asked to take it home, and yes, he reused it. Guess with what?
He was nebulizing his own piss.
Yes. Oh my god.
And a lot of these things started because someone went online, just as a trend, and created a video saying, drink your own wines. It's good for you. And then a bunch of people did it.
But it's not as bad as the one that made ice lollipops out of his own piss and gave that to his children and the children's friends that came over.
That guy got thrown in prison.
So like
yes, that guy got thrown in prison.
Yeah. Oh my fucking god. Oh. There's some weird people in this world.
And there's entire alternative health communities. And then being kind that have grown out of someone making a video and just encouraging people to do stupid things to be a troll.
Well, let's remember how healthy camel urine is. Let's not forget that either, okay?
What?
Say again?
Let's not forget how healthy camel urine is. It cures everything.
Oh, yeah. It's not really healthy.
Never heard of that one, but...
that's... Okay, it's another religion. Never mind.
Oh, yeah. It's also a survival technique out in the middle of the desert. And, yeah.
Well, then I can imagine if that's the only thing left to drink, but...
Yeah. It's not healthy, and you can't do it forever. There's a reason why your body's getting rid of stuff, because it's good for you. It doesn't want to get rid of the water.
No, guys, trust me.
That might sound really crazy, but if you look at the look out on a day that's got broken cloud, you'll see that the sun rays will come out at an angle. Most people have seen this. The rays come down at angles. If the sun was 93 million miles away, then all the light will be coming parallel. So if you imagine, there's no way to...
He doesn't understand refraction.
And they're failing to take into
perspective.
Right, actually, it's just perspective. As things get further away, they converge to a point invisibly. So even though they're straight, they appear to be... let's get some pictures of muscular rays. And this is why I want to have my desktop so that I can... Honestly, I don't know how to put slides on the a screen web. That's why I use two computers. Let's go to corpuscular rays from a space.
And I'm looking up the
and let's
the debunking.
Let's get some images in red.
Let's see.
I'm sending you a picture.
This is oh, in the private. No, like
I got a picture of corpuscular rays from space I just sent you.
oh, from space, yeah. Oh, yeah. Open in browser. That's the easiest one. Then present.
And it's not
share
quite
screen.
straight rays, and it's in because for all intended purposes it is straight, but it's like less than half a degree of divergence between the rays. Because
but it doesn't even look like the rays are straight compared to each other. It's just the sun is not right behind you in this picture.
So you see how the rays are straight? The handle of the camera might be off, but they're not like coming in and, creating a pyramid. They're just like going straight. It's your perspective that's making it look like
Mars, but something way, way over there. All the light that reaches this globe will be parallel. There's no way that light can come that far and spread out like that. Now, if you follow those light rays, you'll see exactly where the sun is. And as I said, it works out to be...
That's just perspective, like your straight train tracks converge inwards. Good point. It's not that the tracks ever get further apart. It's that they just visibly converge.
About 3,100 miles. Now, if that's the case, and the sun is circling over this flat plane...
How do we get night? The lazy light rays just say, well, it's been so distant. I'm just going to completely disappear at night. We're not even going to have a dim sun to look at.
Its light range is limited, so it's illuminating the part of the Earth it's like over at the moment. So, say over Europe, it might, or over South America. It's over there.
That's not how it works. We'd still be able to see the sun.
Yeah.
The intensity of the light would peter off depending upon its brightness, how quickly that happens. Inverse clear law, but we'd still be able to see.
Well, Australia's going to be in the dark because the sun isn't going to throw enough light to illuminate Australia.
High-altitude balloon footage has also filmed lighting hotspots on clouds, proving the sun to be local and acting as a spotlight, and not a burning ball of gas millions of miles away, as supposed by Helio.
Can you see why we laugh at flat earthers?
Hey, guys, I was literally in the hospital yesterday. I almost died from a heart issue. No, you're getting me going.
I'm like, yeah, your blood pressure was like, you didn't even get one above everything over 90.
Mine was like, it was like 50-something over 30. It was 50-something over 30.
Right, hopefully this gets your blood pressure up. Not dangerously up, but...
Well, I'd like to get it in the hundreds at least. I mean, that would be nice. But oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I just laughed.
Yes. That's...
I'm just imagining this big flashlight just floating around the earth or something like that. It's really weird.
And the flat earthers have actually invented the magic of that flashlight. And literal, I think had logic. He hasn't been producing anything in some time. He's probably not even watching it. And I don't think he'd mind if... Well, it's called the magic reaction. it was invented by flat earthers to answer so many more questions that we had. How does it work when the globe works just fine? We'll have to show that soon. When the flat earthers magically appeared, that accounts for the seasons.
Speaking of the sun, there's all kinds of weird things about the sun when you start actually paying attention to it. And there is, speaking of high altitude balloon tests, one of the most famous ones on YouTube that everybody's probably seen by now is the dog camera. It's the dog cam. It shows the wing of a support structure that has a camera and there's a little banner on it that says dog cam. And it's probably using some sort of wide angle fisheye lens, but the horizon is pretty close to right across the center. So you're not really getting the distortion. And it's wobbling around a bit. But on several shots, it shows the sun. And right below the sun on the Earth is a hot spot. Like right below the sun. If the sun's 93 million miles away and it's so much bigger than the Earth, putting one big parallel lines of light toward us, how are you going to get a hot spot directly below it? And the other problem with that is it's shaking and it's moving. The camera, the picture is.
So you're getting rolling shutter.
There is zero motion parallax.
I just want everyone after this is done, go to the channel page and watch the intro video where the ships are coming up to the eye and firing off the flat Earth. You know, there's a moon, there's the flat Earth, then there's the moon, and then there's the globe. And you'll notice there's a hot spot. Commander 401's attention to detail. I was actually using a sun lamp that simulates the sun. I placed it 93 million miles away from the cold sea. And you'll notice there's a hot spot on the eye.
Now, if you've ever noticed, if you've ever driven down a road like out in like in Lubbock, Texas, there's this area.
Is this
and I mean, it's a sun lamp that provides nearly parallel rays. Why would they give Mr. Sensible advertising for their flat Earth video? Mr. Sensible put up was first made to one an accident, but Needs 2 was a spectacular success where he sent up in the wind and they actually, with a taut string in front of the camera, proved that there was with a zero distortion lens.
Close to zero, but
and that there was, for all intended purposes, and the string was right in the middle of the frame on reference, and the string was taut, so the string was an added backup. They did find curvature makes too. I'll go back and provide a link to that in the comment section. There was
where there's lots of windmills, and nothing else. It's flat as can be, and windmills as far as you can see. And if you're driving, 80 miles an hour or whatever on the highway, you notice that the windmills are beside you, the closest to you, they're whipping by.
Yeah, really fast.
But the ones further in the distance, the further out you go, they're hardly moving. Now, if the sun is 93 million miles away, then when you see the movement that weather balloon is doing, and the horizon's coming in and out of frame and doing different things like that, there should be a notable difference between the speed at which the horizon is moving and the speed at which the sun 93 million miles away, if there's motion.
No, because you're not moving past it. If you are moving your camera around, if you're standing still and watching at those wind turbines, and if you move your camera left to right, they will all flash by and at a similar speed. I'm not going to say exactly same, but similar.
Well, also the thing is, right, how fast is that balloon actually moving? And you're looking at the sun, right? So how fast is that balloon really moving relative to the sun in and out. You know,
Yeah, no, but it's
not really moving at all.
It's not it's not as much changing its position as it's changing its viewing angle.
And also, too, you can never see 150% of a sphere. You need to be an infinite distance away. You can only see a set amount of the sphere. So as you move towards the sun, you're actually not moving towards the sun, any real distance. And the same amount of the sphere, given your altitude, will always be visible.
There should be a difference.
Yeah.
The problem is they're in perfect sync. Perfect.
This movement is different.
Scale the totally off
from the camera, because this is
and
moving the
that
whole
would
camera back and
also
forth.
be like, and that would also be like moving up and down relative to the Earth. When we quest to, I'm just guesstimating here, 6,000 miles easy in a few seconds. We can't really do that. That's
Yeah,
not
that
to
too.
scale. 93 million miles.
The horizon and the sun are perfect sync in its movement, showing that it has to be a localized object.
Most people say, well, I see the sun rise and set. How can that be if it's just going round in a circle? Well, that's perspective again. If you actually see video of the sun coming up and going down, many times you'll see that the sun starts off as it's coming up very, very tiny, and it gets bigger as it gets closer to midday.
No, that's just glam.
Sorry.
No.
That's
No
all
need to be
right.
sorry for, don't be sorry for laughing at flat earthers. Especially
my
not
God.
Pissy Dave. Because like he's also not a nice person. He's not a nice person.
He isn't? Okay.
No.
I'll take your word on it. He's a
No, like he's a really pretentious pig. Like he thinks he's the best, and no. Talking
Then
down
he
to
has
people.
gotten arrested. Well, also, he's an blithering idiot. He talks down to people, and he gets upset when they won't accept his flat earth nonsense because he has no idea what kind of idiot he is. He's a sovereign citizen, so he believes he's exempt from UK traffic laws, and he quotes American maritime law to avoid traffic tickets in the UK. Let me see again.
How does that make sense?
He quotes laws that were brought into existence because of America's little spat with the Barbary states. Right?
Yeah,
Back when the founding fathers were still alive, and he's trying to avoid traffic tickets with American and maritime law in the UK.
Yeah, because he thinks he has the right to travel.
You guys are killing me over here. Oh my gosh. I mean, you're not. It's just wow.
Yeah, this is immediately one of the stupidest flat earthers there is, who thinks he is one of the smartest.
But
okay.
The sovereign citizen thing, it's caused so many stupid people to go to jail, and it's caused so much friction in America and around the world, because you tell people that have rights that they don't have, that creates anger. Like, you do have the right to travel in America. There, where there are some places like military bases where understandably you can't go.
No, but
and then you have the right to travel, but by what conveyance?
Yeah, I don't.
And
I
are
don't
you
need,
in charge
I don't
of the
need,
conveyance?
Yeah, I don't need a driver's
They
license
don't need
because
a
I got the
driver's
right to
license.
travel. Yeah,
he
no,
part
but
of
the only
Sorry.
thing the right to travel, like, this is coming from a non-American who knows that it better than them. The right to travel is only applies to the fact that you do not need identification to travel between two states. You can just always cross state lines. That's what it applies to.
Now, what were you gonna say? Real.
It's just reminding me. Remember, did it happen a couple of years ago? A bunch of people were trying to break into Area 51 during, what is it called, the Narado Run or something like that? with their
Oh,
arms behind their
yes!
back? I'm picturing this guy doing that, being part of that crowd. It's just every time he opens his mouth, that's what I'm seeing.
Like, the thing is, like,
Yeah, I knew someone who worked at Groom Lake, and basically just aircraft that he can't talk about. No fucking aliens, pardon my language. And burn pits that cause cancer amongst the people there, and burning things which should not be burned. And I can say that because the friend is not blind, but it was more or less they don't even acknowledge its existence. And but there was no aliens. Go figure.
No, but the thing also is, like, with that, when they tried to storm it, like, sadly there were a lot of kids with that. Otherwise, would have said, like, just let them run into the gunfire. That will increase your average IQ. like no, like, if you're that stupid, sorry, but, like, it's shitty for your family, but then you're asking for it. At some point, I stop having empathy for stupid.
Oh, we got video of First Amendment. I have downloaded videos of First Amendment auditors. They're basically camping themselves outside the entrance in military bases. And they don't understand why they're being told by the guards to go fuck off. And I do. I worked as a contractor at NASA Langley before. And, well, to put it bluntly, right? There's a NASA side of the base that they're not all too concerned about, but they still have security. You can't park your ass out there. But if you park your camera in front of the U.S. military base, inevitably you're going to have people whose identities, can be compromised. I mean, let's say you have someone going in for training on the base, and they are actually a spy. And they're going in for some kind of training where they're being sent overseas. And if you have foreigners or flat earth idiots just parking their cameras outside those bases, and you get that camera, well, face recognition software now knows that that person exists. They were going inside a military base, and let's say they try to infiltrate a base in a hostile country with fake credentials, but now someone's got their picture and they're found out you were going into an American military base and they're never seen again. That's one of the reasons out of many why they just don't want it. And I can understand it.
Yeah.
It puts our people at risk and puts everyone at risk. But they're so thick, they'll just sit out there and then they'll dare until the guys in the gate have no choice but to arrest them and take their ship. But there's a reason
and then
for
get
it.
smaller again. It's literally that effect of perspective. You know, with something's above you, like the ceiling in a hallway, yeah, as it goes.
It doesn't get perspective for corpuscular rays, but he applies perspective wrongly when it comes to not understanding
Further
glare.
away, it will seem to sink down towards the horizon until it disappears beyond the limit of your sight, and that's all you're seeing. You're seeing literally the sun circling overhead, but seeming to set.
There is a lot of water in our atmosphere.
But no shit.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
Yeah, Jasper is from Germany or lives in Germany. I don't know actual national origins. Over here, there's whatever the heck that word is. In other words, that's just another word. That's just another word for idiot.
And this is the USGS website, usgs.gov, Science for a Changing World, the USGS Water Science School.
Now, Jasper, tell me, I have to know, are they quoting U.S. law, these guys that you're mentioning here, that you mentioned here in English, are they quoting U.S. law to try to get out of traffic tickets in China?
Talks about there is always water in the atmosphere. Clouds are, of course, the most visible manifestation of atmospheric water, but even clean air contains water, water in particles that are too small to be seen. One estimate of the volume of water in the atmosphere at any one time is about 3,100 cubic miles, or 12,900 cubic kilometers. If all the water that's in the atmosphere were to rain down at once, it would cover the globe to a depth of about 1 inch. If
Out of the way.
the atmosphere, especially over
Yeah, that's reflection there.
water, is made up of zillions and zillions of tiny convex drops of water, then collectively, perhaps they all combine to make one big convex lens, in which case it would act like a magnifying glass. Refraction causes the light to bend downward. Now, we've all seen pictures of...
It's called Snell's law. And there's a formula to project what the light does.
a pencil or something in a glass of water, and how not only does refraction bend the image downward, it also magnifies it.
The science is the same of that of a lens. Here's a simple example.
So if you're looking at the
Nouns that consider themselves to be hardbound by the law to see, as far as I can see. He's referring to whether or not the sovereign citizens in Germany quote U.S. law to try to get out of their traffic ticket. All of them are just parroting new stuff. They're being played by Russian trolls.
Chicago here, just maybe now you can just see the top of the Sears Tower, and if our simulated temperature inversion moves into place, hopefully now you can see pretty much all of Chicago,
see all the lower buildings,
including what's at ground level.
So the atmosphere really is acting like a lens.
Yes.
Yes, it does. approximately 42% of Germans are tending towards one or the other. Conspiracies out there. Oh boy. This is how the Russians get people. They suck them into the bloody conspiracy theories, and then they don't trust their authorities anymore, and then they want a complete overhaul, and they get people like Figo or Trump or Orban. I mean, literally, Orban has legislation, stop Soros legislation. Well, not trusting. Yeah, I guess you need to have a certain amount of skepticism.
Yeah, and I think that is, I think Germans have a good reason in their history not to trust their government.
I mean, well, look at Schultz, right? I'm not going to comment about internal German politics because I do not know enough about them outside of that. The AfD is dangerous and needs to be put down. But Schultz, when he was confronted with the idea of doing something about the propaganda, he was like, Americans might be stupid enough for it, but us in Germany, we'd never fall for it. It could never happen here. And I just had to do the giant facepalm because Germany was most famous for it happening there. And all conspiracy theories, or most of them, will lead you to the anti-Semitic point of no return. Eventually, one conspiracy leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. I won't say that all of them, because conspiracies of what happened to the Kardashians or whatever that was. But flat Earth is the gateway to other conspiracies. If you believe the Earth is flat, you believe anything. And I understand healthy skepticism of government, but I mean to the point where. And I'm not going to say this, that I trust the security services under Trump, because clearly he says he wants to pull some off and put in his own loyalists. Let's just say I trust the CIA and the NSA and the FBI before him. And I would have trusted it during his first term. And I would have trusted it under Obama. I would have trusted it under Bush because I'm under Clinton because I'm a grown-up. And I know that most of those people, they're sore the second Trump gen, while career people care about their country.
The science is the same of that of a.
Yeah, we don't know exactly what angle the camera's at. We don't know what angle the table's at relative to that thing. And we've seen this before where they would elevate either the camera or do something with the table that caused it to disappear.
Here's a simple example.
The atmosphere really is like acting like a lens.
Yes.
Yes, that's called refraction. That's the thing they always try to debunk.
Until I do this myself, but it doesn't prove the Earth is flat. But we've seen this before.
No,
where there's some
it proves the globe. It proves the globe. It proves refraction.
Yes.
What about the seasons?
The sun's annual journey from tropic to tropic, solstice to solstice, is what determines the length and character of days, nights, and seasons. This is why equatorial regions experience almost year-round summer and heat, while higher latitudes north and especially south experience more distinct seasons with harsh winters. The sun began its journey at the Tropic of Capricorn.
Let's consider conservation of energy. Everyone remembers the volleyball ball. right? Or like a skater dancing on ice, and then they hold their hands out and they move slower. They pull their hands in and they spin faster. Well, yeah, this goes against the conservation of momentum because as the sun goes outward, it needs to travel faster to give it 24-hour day, and as it comes in, it needs to
At the
spin
winter
slower.
solstice, where it made its fastest and largest circle over the Earth. For the next 3 months, every day the sun slightly narrowed its path and slowed its speed until by the spring equinox, the sun had spiraled its way from the Tropic of Capricorn to the equator.
Speeds it up.
Then for the next 3 months, again, every day, the sun...
What speeds it up and slows it down? It's the conservation of momentum would not allow for that. It would be the exact opposite. It would get slower as it went out, faster as it
continued to slightly narrow its path and slow its speed until the summer solstice, when the sun made its smallest, slowest circle around the Tropic of Cancer.
So when the sun is further away from the North Pole, right, the center of the flat Earth, it's winter in the north and summer in the south. Since the sun is smaller than we are told and closer, it makes much more sense that we experience seasons in the first place. If the sun was 93 million miles away and had a radius of over 400,000 miles, we would hardly experience temperature fluctuation as we do.
It's not to do with the distance, it has to do with the angle.
Yeah, the sunrays are hitting your head on. So there's the method of the equator, maximum amount of sun light hitting the smallest amount of surface area, and as you go further north, just like the hypotenuse of the triangle.
Yeah, then the same sun rays have to heat a bigger area of the ground, but it's also the amount.
The heliocentric model
Yeah,
claims seasons change based on the ball Earth's alleged axial tilt and elliptical orbit around the sun, yet their flawed current model places us closest to the sun, 91 million miles.
And I think I'm going to have to call it because I'm running out of time. And it's like 11:40 here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually 12:40 for Brainless.
My alarm isn't set
Am
for
I
6:30.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
That has fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for the laughs. That was who needs drugs when you got someone like that to watch? I mean, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah. I don't know the difference because I've never tried drugs, but
He lives in the Netherlands and has never had marijuana. I've never had marijuana. I had my first alcohol not more than a few months ago. And I cannot tolerate it whatsoever. Basically what amounts to a weak beer diluted 1-to-1. 2 of those will get me visibly drunk, so I am a lightweight when it comes to that.
Oh yeah, the messages you sent. It was so clear that you were drunk. In a good way.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me on again. It was a fun stream, and again, sorry I wasn't as active today, but it was a good distraction.
It's all right.
Well, you get well soon.
I'm hoping so. It's been 9 years of this stuff, you know.
Ooh.
So, no, actually, I found out so just an update. I got diagnosed with all this heart stuff September 3rd. So, but it's stuff that's been going on for years. They just, doctors love to diagnose you with everything else. So immediately my cardiologist puts me on all this medication that has just dropped my blood pressure to almost nothing. So now I'm just taking one medication, and I'm actually starting to feel better as far as energy and stuff goes. And I'm not falling over and getting dizzy every time I look down or turn my head. So that's a good thing. Hopefully I'll get back to streaming pretty soon, but anyway, it's good to have friends like you folks, and it's good for laughs, and be safe out there. Whatever you do not fall off the edge of the earth, because man, that's just an infinite fall. And don't let the sun hit you in the head either, because that probably hurt. So that's all I'd have to say, really.
Yeah.
I hope I don't run into Dave while I'm here.
Yeah. Nobody hopes to run into Dave.
Well, anyway.
Have
be
a good
safe.
night, everybody.
Have a good night. Take care.
Yeah. Good night.